What is going on, guys? Matt here. Today we're looking at a super unique knife, very interesting design, not kind of a classic knife that you might see on my table, something like this. It's coming up for review soon, Cold Steel 8010. Very unique knife, very unique style of knife. And let's talk about it. So the Cold Steel Steel Tiger is a karambit style knife. It has a hawkbill style blade. And as you can see, that's a very kind of curved style knife. Now, a lot of people say this reminds them of a claw, which is probably why they named it the Cold Steel Steel Tiger. What kind of claw does this remind me of most? A lot of people would say a tiger claw or, a lion, something like that, a big cat. This reminds me of the claw of off the Velociraptors from Jurassic Park. Anyone else think of that? Maybe if you held this, it kind of reminds you of that. Just that real sharp curve, kind of a scary looking blade, to be honest, but that's kind of the idea. It's a fighting knife, a dedicated fighting knife. So let's talk about the specs, what I did like, what I don't mind, and then what I dislike and something unique. So the specs on this, it has a 4 3/8 inch blade. Obviously, it's not going straight out, so it's kind of curved or like that, so you're not getting as much length. It's 5 ounces overall. It has AUS 8A steel. Yes, Cold Steel does still use AUS 8A. Not often, but on some knives like their Kobun. This is karambit style, as I mentioned. If you want to pick this up, you're looking at $30 to $40. This has a Kraton or Kray-X handle and then a plastic ring on the back for either your pinky or your pointer finger to be held like that. You knife fighters in the comments, let me know how to hold the karambit. I've seen, yes, I love Forged in Fire, so I've seen Doug Marcaida use them both this way and kind of this way. I've seen him use both ways, but let me know if there's kind of a dedicated way to use them. From what I've seen, it appears to be a reverse grip like this is kind of the more popular way to use it. So anyway, let's get into what I like. So ultimately, I think the thing I like most about this is a quality karambit for around 30 to 40 bucks. I got this on a great sale. It was like 30 bucks. AUS 8A obviously isn't a premium steel, but it's not a bad steel. We'll talk about it later. Kraton is a good material, a polypropylene kind of ring on the back. And then, yes, I don't love Secure X sheaths, but this is well put together. It clicks in relatively nicely and it's got a nice pocket clip on it. So overall, getting like a quality karambit for 30 to 40 bucks, that's pretty impressive. A lot of companies are putting out karambits now just because I think that Cold Steel probably, to be honest, has popularized them. They've been in a lot of movies. These style blades, I believe they are Indonesian in origin, but correct me if I'm wrong on that. So getting a high quality karambit with decent materials and really solid build quality that's quite thick, it's 5 millimeters thick. I don't think I mentioned that. And obviously it tapers to a much more precise point. So, but yeah, getting a quality karambit for that price, I think is awesome. Very impressive. No, it's not practical, but one, if you practice kind of martial arts with blades like this, or two, if you just liked having different knife designs, kind of like I do, this is a great option for how inexpensive it is. So what else do I like? So obviously I like this design. There's just something about this blade. When you hold it, us knife people, right? I'm trying to get this out. I'm stumbling over my words. Well, us knife people, when they hold a knife, they're kind of used to where things index. And what I mean by that is when you're holding a knife, you kind of assume the blade is right here. You get the idea of how to control it, of how to wield it, not defensively necessarily, but, how to use it in everyday tasks. And so, with a knife that's so unique in its style, this blade is kind of hard to get a gauge on, right? It's hard to be like, okay, where's this blade? Where am I indexing, And so it kind of sneaks up on you is a good way of putting it because of how inwardly curved it is. So I really like the design of this. It's very interesting and very kind of lethal feeling. So be careful with this. If you do have this blade, if you're not used to indexing a knife like this, it's going to be different. So just, be careful of that. Another thing I really quite like is the fit and finish on this. Now, we talked about how much I like that you could get such an inexpensive karambit, of high quality materials for this cheap, and the fit and finish on this is nice. The grind is not perfect, as you can see. That happens on some Cold Steel knives, but goodness gracious, grinding this right here, I'm sure that's terribly difficult. I can forgive this a lot more than I can forgive kind of their other, especially more high quality knives. with like a straight Tonto blade or a clip point blade or something like this. This is a lot more difficult to grind. So I like the fit and finish. The overmold on the Kraton, quite nice, very well done. Everything feels solid, feels nice and traction-y. You know, this isn't moving out of your hand at all. It's just nice and grippy. So fit and finish, very nice. And along with the fit and finish, I really like the stone washing on this. They've done stone washing on a few of their blades that they used to, I think, bead blast, and stone washing just looks so much better. I know that it can be more prone to rust, but who cares? Just wipe the rust off or keep it oiled. You know, and that way if this scratches up, it just still looks natural. And I just think this really looks like a nice, simple, kind of elegant blade, even though, yeah, it's rubber materials. But stone washing kind of adds a level of elegance to it, you could kind of say. So last thing I want to say is the handle is quite comfortable. There's a caveat with that, but that Kraton that Cold Steel does, you can't beat it. It's very comfortable, very well done. So what don't I mind? So I'm going to say the thing I don't mind is the steel. Ace A, it's like those steels I talk about, they're working steels. They'll work just fine, especially for a knife like this, which hopefully you never have to use. But if you like using it for like cutting your apples or something, go for it, you know, if you just enjoy it. But, you know, Ace A is just one of those working steels. I'm going to say I don't mind it, but honestly, at this price level, Ace A is a completely acceptable steel. I'm going to even say it's a good deal, you know, for being 30 bucks and this much of it and this designed like this as well. You know, a lot of companies would probably put 420 or, you know, 8CR or even, you know, 5CR, something cheap. So Ace A, completely acceptable. It's something I don't mind. It's a working steel. What don't I like? So there's just a couple things. The finger grooves on here, I just don't like finger grooves. I'm just going to say it. I've talked about it a lot. Do they index with my fingers? They index okay in forward grip. In reverse grip though, not really. My fingers kind of dig into there. Given that it's Kraton, it's not terribly uncomfortable. And again, it's not like you're going to be carving something with this, but I just would have preferred take away those finger grooves or make them less pronounced, you know. Your hand's not going anywhere. Kraton, a ring on the end, you know, it's not going anywhere. So just flatten that out. Maybe make a slow kind of gradual taper to a larger end so that your hand doesn't slip out or anything like that. Not that that's an issue with the ring, but, you know, that'd be a common way to design a knife. So I just would prefer if they didn't have those finger grooves on there. And the last thing I don't love is the plastic ring on the end. Now, this is a strong plastic. I believe it's polypropylene or some sort of Zytel. But from what I've heard, a lot of people, like the defensive ways to use this, one of them is to strike with the pommel. You know, similarly on a knife like the 8010, you know, this is a kind of a tactically designed knife. There's a pommel strike on the back, and that's made of aluminum. Aluminum would have been, in my opinion, a much better material because I've seen people crack these, and I'm sure it would crack relatively easily. That being said, again, it's a $30, $35 knife. You know, I can't say it's a huge deal because, you know, God forbid if you have to use this, hopefully you end up using the blade and not the pommel. You know, that's going to be obviously a good bit more lethal, and hopefully, again, you never have to do anything like that. But don't like that they have the plastic ring on the end. It's just not my cup of tea. But what's unique about it? Well, I think I touched on it in what I like. You don't really see these, guys. You don't really see a high-quality karambit made with good materials. Solid sheath, yes, of course, is going to dull. And let's see how the fitment on this is. So the locking is actually quite nice, has a good solid lock to it. So that's not an issue. The issue with this is it rattles quite a bit. So, you know, this is kind of be meant to carry it stealthily. Not a greatest thing that it rattles that much, but yeah, you're getting a high quality karambit for 35 bucks, sometimes even cheaper. I think I got this for like 30 bucks, maybe even less. So that's fantastic. And that's incredibly unique that you're getting a well-made kind of niche blade for such a good deal. And I think that's really cool. So would I recommend it? Absolutely. This is an absolute recommend. No, it's not practical. It's not supposed to be practical. It's a fighting knife. It's a dedicated fighting knife. And so if you know, practice with one of these or you just like the style, pick one up. I think it's a fantastic deal and an absolute recommend. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.